Hey, Rich,
Hey, Michael.
and welcome everybody to BitPunch Radio episode 049. On tonight's episode, we are going to be talking about all of the video game announcements. Everyone's got their cards out there. I know there's a few other things that's supposed to be talked about soon.
hmm
There's some conferences tomorrow, I think Thursday the 16th, but we're recording this on the 15th. And yeah, we've got a lot to cover here. Looks like you've got some Splitgate, some Infinite, Sniper Elite 5. You've been watching some Obi-Wan. I've been watching Miss Marvel. I've been playing some Assassin's Creed Origins. And yeah, just let's get into all of this. Why don't you kick us off? What have you been up to lately?
So my the reason for the Halo Infinite and Splitgate on this week's episode is my cousin that I play first-person shooters with is back off the aircraft carrier that he's been on for the last 8 months,
Whoa,
and
okay.
so it's time to play those games again because he hasn't played them for 8 months. So
Wow.
we generally play Halo together. We've
Okay.
been sprinkling in some Splitgate because it's basically Halo.
How is that?
Um,
How's the numbers for Splitgate been?
I have no idea. I mean, you don't have any problems finding matches or anything like that.
Sure.
That's not an issue at all. Um, it's the same game. It's been since for a while. Yeah,
They came out.
Halo's still Halo. They got some new maps. I mean, I don't think they've done a ton to that game. Seems like they've been like having trouble with like their season pass.
Hmm.
uh, like that it's too long and there's not enough actual content anybody cares about, in my opinion. There, uh, but
W-
it's still good.
weirdly absent from anything being announced. Seems like, unless it was
Yeah, they
talked about
announced.
today.
Yeah, yeah, they announced a like new season or something or like a new event, but still no campaign co-op like show off or anything like that. I think that's the big thing everybody's maybe waiting for. Um, so yeah, nothing really to talk about with those two games.
Hmm.
Um, let's talk about Sniper Elite
Hold on,
5.
my Alexa. So my family keeps going in and out the door, and so if you hear motion detected at the driveway or motion detected at the doorbell, that is them going in and out of the house. I don't know if my mic is picking up on that or not. Hopefully, NVIDIA Broadcast is doing its job there, but
Yeah.
we'll see. So, Sniper Elite 5, let's go. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I've not played any of those before.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
This one is on Game Pass. I think the last one had been on Game Pass for a little while. Sniper Elite 4. It seems like my type of game. It's a sneaky snipery game.
Hmm.
I heard quite a few people saying that it's pretty good, including some people at work.
Mm.
Um, I kind of hate it.
I wasn't
So
expecting that.
I don't know. I was I'm kind of screwed now. Like I had kind of thought, oh, this is gonna take up like a good couple like weeks to a month of my time, and then immediately hated it,
Sure.
and I don't want to play it anymore. And now I don't know what I'm gonna play. So yeah,
Oh.
um,
There's not much coming out either.
no, unfortunately. But yeah, the game it's set in World War II. So you're kind of set to kind of a certain, loadout with your weapons and your grenades and excuse me, things like that. Which isn't like most of the problem. Um, it kind of reminded me of the last Ghost Recon game that I don't remember the name of. Um, Breakpoint, Ghost Recon
Okay.
Breakpoint. A quick Google has saved me. I really liked that game. I probably got like 50% of the way through the story of that game. I thought that game was fun.
Oh.
It was a little. It made you feel kind of like a badass. Like you're this dude like behind enemy lines. Like these planes would fly over and you'd have to like duck and roll around in the mud and shit. But then you could also like get up in a helicopter and fly and then just jump out of it and then it would crash and explode. Like it had enough of like the dumb open world shit in it. Um in this game you can't drive vehicles
Okay.
and the maps are really really big. And so you're just running around on foot like literally this game starts and you're like in a sub like staring at one of the beaches in France like during World War II. And so it looks like D-Day. And
Wow.
you just one dude, you just hop off the boat and you're like, "Yep, just gonna go fuck some shit up. I got this cool blue sweater on. We're good. Let's go." And the whole thing is just really weird. Like you go through a little tutorial section, which is fine, and then it kind of has its Bethesda moment where you like step out and it's like, here's the whole world, here's the whole map. This map's giant. Then it gives you like 4 or 5 different objectives that are all over the map. And like the big mechanics of the game are you're a sniper, right? So you're sniping dudes. Every time you snipe a dude, it like goes into like slow-mo and shows the bullet like enter the person's skull and does the X-ray thing.
Yeah.
And that was cool about the first 2 times, and then every time after that, I'm smashing the space bar to skip it.
So
I'm
you
sure
can
you can turn
turn,
it off.
yeah, I guess the
Yeah,
accessibility options in this game are like, they're very forgiving. And
yeah,
so podcasts that I've listened to where people are playing that game or talking about it, they're like, I turn that off because first off, maybe I'm queasy or whatever, but yeah, it just like once you've seen it, you don't need to keep
yeah.
seeing it.
Yeah, to me, I would turn it off. Because after a minute, after the second time, I was like smashing spacebar because to me it like
Yeah,
interrupted like the flow
sure.
of like the sniping. Um, but then there's like all these rules about, oh well, guys can hear you, like this gun people can hear you if they're 160 meters away, or like so
Is
like
there
I
some blip above them that tells you like how many meters they are away
I
or
it wasn't really clear to me. There probably
okay.
is. I probably totally missed it. So I shot these 2 guys. They were like standing by a guard shack, and then I was like, okay, and then started running forward, and then these 2 dudes in a jeep came by, and they stopped and they saw the bodies, and it was like kind of like Hitman, kind of like, oh, body found, and I
Right.
was like, oh shit. So I'm like, oh, is this like the point where I'm already gonna have to like go loud now? And so I just hid, and it's got the tall grass, and you go invisible like every other game now.
Yep.
And like the Jeep drove off, and I was like, I bet that Jeep's gonna drive back through here in like 5 minutes. So I went out to the road and I put a landmine down, ran off, doing my thing, and then 5 minutes later, I'm 300 yards somewhere else, and the camera just hard cuts to that Jeep exploding.
Uh
I'm just like, okay. And then that alerted some other guy that's like way back over there that saw the Jeep explode. And I'm just like, I'm over here now. I'm not over there, but okay. And so that was like all like really awkward as I'm like trying to sneak around.
sure.
And like I open up the map and it's got like this big blue like waypoint and it's like vantage point. And one of the mechanics in the game is you have binoculars and that's how you like spot people. And you have to actually like focus in on them to spot them. And you also have like a very vague like Batman vision where you can hit a button and the people's silhouettes pop up, which worked sometimes and not others for some reason. It was very odd. Um, so I go to this blue vantage point because I'm like, oh, I got my binoculars. I'm gonna go to this vantage point. I'm gonna get like an overlook, and I'll spot all the guys, and then I'll do
Mhm.
the rich thing, and I'll shoot them all, and then I'll,
Yeah.
this will be what I do for the next 40 hours. Um, so I go, and it's the this recon area is like this little, pill box on the side of a beach in France, and I go up to it and I see these 2 Nazi dudes just doing their little patrols. And I'm like, okay, well, like I'm gonna be close range, so I'm gonna pull out the pistol. I pull out the pistol, shoot the guy in the head. Like he's looking the other way. I shoot him in the back of the head. He doesn't do anything. He gets hit, but he just turns around like, damn it, what was that? And I'm like, well, that was a bullet. You should be dead. He's like, no,
And
man, I'm not dead.
it didn't register?
No, it hit him, but then I had to unload like half a clip into him. And then the guy
Oh,
upstairs like got aggroed, and he came down, and I had to unload like another half clip into him. And I'm like, well, that was dumb.
yeah.
And then I went to the top of that little overlook place, and I got there was two guys like down below me, and I got them to line up perfectly, like so their heads were in line.
Yeah.
And so I shot through their heads, and I watched the slow mo that time, and saw the bullet pass through the one guy's head, and then hit the other guy in the head, but it didn't kill the other guy. He apparently can live with a bullet in his brain. Um, he had just that much health left,
Oh
and there
man.
was a guy like 100 yards away that saw that aggroed, and it's like, oh no! And it's like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
I this is, and then like, I'm still near the beach. There's like this gunboat that has this big ass searchlight that is like just totally video gamey, just like going up and down the beach with this spotlight. And anytime I would like step out, it would be like that it saw me. And then like I'd like look at it with binoculars. It's like, oh, you got to shoot the little red bits on the gunboat to blow it up. And I'm like, man, that's a boat.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a what? What? I don't know. It is not for me.
I've
I
heard
did not
it's
like
very
anything about it.
budget feeling.
You know, it wasn't necessarily that. I mean, the movement is a little weird, but just like I think I'm finally tired of the like cover system, crouch in the tall grass, whistle to have them come over, you know, do the silent takedown, or you can either make them go to sleep or you can kill them. This is literally has all this. You can whistle. You literally have a whistle. You don't whistle with your fingers or your mouth. You literally have a fucking whistle. Okay, like a fucking
You,
basketball coach.
I mean,
And
everything you're saying is the same game I'm playing right now.
true, true.
Except
But
I don't have
it's not as
binoculars.
good. It's not as good as Assassin's Creed Origins. I can tell
Okay.
you that.
All right.
And not to say that that can't be done well, because I think it has been done well in the past. But at this point, it's just like this recycled mechanic, and it's
Yeah.
just not interesting.
Yeah, it's
Like
almost like
when
we've
it
got a
comes to like the
bar.
sniping.
We've got a bar
Yeah,
now where Assassin's
yeah.
Creed Origins has done it pretty well, and then they've, Valhalla Odyssey has kind of like evolved it, and now it seems like this is kind of taking a step back. And it's nice that it's on Game Pass and stuff, but
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I didn't spend any money on that game.
right.
You know, hey, if you like that game, more power to you. I'm happy for you.
Hmm.
I did not like that game. It's been a while since I've like had that negative reaction
Wow.
to a game in quite a while. Um, any more questions about Sniper Elite 5?
Is it one map? Is it just one big map, or is there different
N-
worlds that you're going to?
No, I think I want to say there's 10 missions.
Mm.
Maybe there's less than that, but the maps are really really big. I bet it takes you like an hour and a half, 2 hours to like beat a level. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
It does have co-op. Maybe it would be more fun co-op. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I do have it
Um,
installed, so
yeah, I uninstalled it.
okay. Well,
I
maybe.
wish I installed it. I would be open to trying it co-op,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm definitely not going back and playing that solo. Um, boy, let's see, books. Books. I have started reading the second Mistborn book. Um, I'm probably only like 10% into that.
Okay.
That is like picking right up
Sure.
sort of where the first book left off, maybe sans like a 4 month period in between. Um, I'm trying to finish that before like mid July, which is going to be a pretty good undertaking, I think, because that's when I plan to start the Way of Kings. Is when I go on vacation.
Yes.
So that's still good. That's I still like that universe. I want to keep reading that book. Nothing really to say about that.
Hmm.
Um, the Obi-Wan TV show, I am caught up except for today's episode.
Okay.
We record these on a Wednesday. There's a new episode today. Um, that show, it really does remind me of like episodes of the Clone Wars TV show.
In
Like
a
we're
good
gonna go
way?
to this place and we're gonna like do an adventure, and this whole show kind of reminds me of like one of the like 4 episode arcs in Clone Wars that all kind of like were together. We're like part of a bigger story.
Right.
That cartoon does that quite a bit. And this is what that feels like. Um, I'm liking it. But this last episode has like some real rough like suspension of belief
Mm.
moments in it. Um, there is literally like a uh, boy, what metaphor can I use here? There's literally like a 90s kids movie where a character is wearing a big cloak and is like hiding another character, and they might as well have like the sunglasses with the fake nose and the
Mm-hmm.
mustache. Literally that happens in this very serious Star Wars show. Um and it's really weird. Um
Hmm.
and there's a couple other moments that are kind of like, what? Why'd you do that?
Mm-hmm.
That was bad. That was a bad idea.
Is it
You shouldn't have done
himself or
that.
is it stuff that's happening around him? Like, is
No,
he
it's
acting out of character or is it just the situations that they put him in is just not
I can't decide if they have to be like trying to play up just the like total ineptitude of the Empire,
okay?
because the Clone Wars show does that all the time.
Sure.
Like where like they literally dress up as like droids, like Anakin and Obi-Wan, and they're just
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
like totally, and they just walk by all the stupid droids and all
Mm-hmm.
the stupid stormtroopers, and then they get out. They kind of weasel their way out, and that literally happens in this deal. Except there's a lot of human beings like that are just ignoring them. Um,
Mm.
but it's really rough. It's just kind of like, uh, nobody
You know,
saw
I
him.
felt like all of the Star Wars, the Book of Boba Fett, like I haven't finished that one yet, but they all just have those moments where it's just like, like why did you do that? Why did you insert
Yeah.
this ridiculousness? And even like the Marvel shows do that too sometimes, but
But then, like, it makes up for it. Like the last episode I watched, which I think is episode 4, um, that ends with like a really strong moment between two characters that kind of hit me in the feels, and I
mm,
was like, all right, I'm back. Like, I'm still in
all right.
this. Like, there's Ewan McGregor is Obi-Wan. I mean, he's the guy. So, and he's good at it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll keep watching it. I still can't talk about that show if people haven't watched that show,
Sure.
because the entire plot of the show is based around a very specific person that was not announced prior to the show.
And
At least to
like
my
even
knowledge.
living on Twitter and stuff, I haven't seen because you told me after we recorded.
Yeah,
I haven't even seen a hint of that.
yeah,
And we're what we're 5 weeks into it now. That's surprising.
it's pretty wild. You haven't seen it yet. Um, so yeah, that show is good still. I like a lot of the characters they have in there. Obviously, Ewan McGregor's great. The Inquisitors are really good. Um, Still waiting for that Hayden Christensen moment to kind of see him, re- you know, really be in that role.
Has he
Um,
not yet?
he's been in the suit, so there's been times when he is in the Vader suit, but they're using James Earl Jones's voice, so
Oh.
you don't get like Hayden's voice. You get old Darth Vader's voice, which is James Earl Jones, um, whom I've met, by the way. I've
Oh.
met James
Is
Earl Jones in
is
the flesh.
isn't he like from somewhere near us?
I don't know where he's from, but the way that I met him is I worked at Verizon in the 2000s,
You still on my
and
phone?
he did all the Verizon commercials
Oh,
back then. It was like a big thing.
okay, yeah.
Man, where is he from? Where is James Earl Jones from? He was born in Mississippi. He did
Oh, that's
graduate from Michigan. So,
okay. That's close.
but yeah, he came to my office like in 2007 or something, and I like met him.
Were you starstruck or did you care?
Yeah, man, he's a pretty like demanding, just his voice,
Sure.
like he's got like a presence about him, and like you can tell like that role like changed his whole life, right? I mean, because anytime anybody sees him, they're like, "Come on, like do the Vader thing,
Do you think he
like say
loves that or do
like
you think he
like
hates
say
it?
Luke." He played it up. I mean, he's gotta hate it. Like he
Sure.
can't not hate it, right? But he did it. He did the thing, and like we all died and felt like we're dead. And we're like, you know. So I mean, yeah, he's a good dude.
Hmm.
Seems like a nice guy. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was making Mufasa jokes, but I
Mm,
was like 20 years old. So what are you
right.
gonna do? Um. So yeah, I mean, I'm still liking Obi-Wan. We'll see. They've only got 2 episodes left. This episode that came out today, and then one more.
Oh,
Um, it's only a 6 episode deal, but I guess it's doing so well they like rewrote the ending of it, and now they're going to do a season 2, which they explicitly said they weren't going to do
oh, I
a season
thought,
two.
yeah, I thought he was
Yeah,
only a one season thing.
got that Disney Plus money, baby.
Are you liking shows just being 6 episodes?
I, I don't know, man. I've been struggling with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, it's rough. I think it's pretty rough, honestly.
It, it
I think it's hard to, especially when it's newer characters. This is a little bit easier because it's mostly about a character we already know.
sure.
Um, but yeah, I think it's hard to like get an arc of a story in without it being rushed
Right.
in like that many episodes. And I think
Mhm.
there's like it doesn't need to be Clone Wars, but there's some fucking banger Clone Wars episodes that are like just one-offs,
Mhm.
you know. I don't know, like little side quests.
Right.
So, yeah, that is all I've been doing. I haven't gotten back to V Rising.
Oh, okay.
I kind of need to get back to that, but have not. Um, kind of at the point where I need to beat some bosses in that game and I need help
Does
because I
it
don't have
make you
time to
want to
play with
wait
anybody.
until they 1.0 or do you feel like you're safe?
I mean, I definitely don't feel safe. They could wipe those servers at any
Sure.
point in time. Um, Maybe a little bit. I think right now it's just time. Like getting me and my buddy to sit down and like actually play it together is rough
Right.
because it's summer, so everything's busy in parent land. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's all I've got
Yeah,
there.
we literally like this afternoon was a volleyball camp, Waffle House, watch Miss Marvel, come podcast. That
Fucking
was
Waffle House, man.
yeah.
God
You should have seen my kids
damn.
in there, man.
Fuck.
They you think I took them to Ruth Chris or something. Like that was like their $100 steak was just this
Yeah.
waffle that's stamped with the word Waffle House on it. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, that
That
was
m- for my kids, that is the we're going to the Mexican restaurant and we're getting the big queso.
oh right, yeah. And we're getting margaritas, aka a cup of black coffee.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah, with the big queso. That's
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a like National Lampoon's like Clark episode of
Yeah.
like
You have
we're rich. I can afford the $13 queso,
right.
baby.
And you have a local Mexican restaurant that you love and you favor. Like
Yeah,
there's because
absolutely.
there's 9 of
Yeah.
them around us, but
Oh,
there's
dude. Yeah.
one that you always go to because it's the
Oh
one.
yeah, the other ones are trash.
Yep.
This one's got the good shit.
Yep.
It's got the salty chips, man. White people taco night.
Oh, dude, they built a Taco Bell real close to our house, like 2 or 3 miles away, and we started doing some math of how much money we've been spending in Taco Bell, and it's making us almost want to buy gift cards of it for
Yeah.
fucking fuel points. Like, that's how much money Taco Bell has been eating out of our pocket. Now, and we love it though, but
Yeah. Yeah.
oh man, anything else?
No, no.
So I'm not really okay. I'm making some bad decisions here, and I want you to. I want to just like talk through this. So I'm still reading Oathbringer, but by the time our next episode, we record episode 50, um, I should be done with that. I
Oh
am
boy.
about 80 something percent into it. It's dragging at this point. So I'm hoping something really cool happens soon. I'm also reading Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians. You heard of this?
Is that his like young kid like Harry Potter thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so we have been listening to it like as a family, like in the car and stuff, and we're about halfway through that, and that's fun. You know, it's its own little mystery. It's juvenile, but it's supposed to be. So it's like the perfect
Right.
book for my kids to read. So um that's what I've been reading. I have started watching Miss Marvel. We did pick up on Stranger Things. Are you a Stranger Things fan?
Nope.
Okay.
You're the 40th person to ask me in the last 2 weeks. Nope.
Yeah, so that third season of Stranger Things was not good. It was cool because it took place in this mall. So they like did up this mall like 80s, 90s style, and it was just like kind of like, oh, like that's my heart right there, man. The
Got a
fucking
KB
mall.
boys.
All
Yeah.
that stuff, man. Like yours was probably, well, I don't know. You probably didn't go to Circle Center that much. Circle Center was like, I've only been there like 2 or 3 times, which was this big mall in Indianapolis. It's still there, but like they had a floor that was just an arcade. And I just
Hmm.
remember the few times going to Indianapolis and going to Circle Center, that just was like my white whale. Like
The first time we met in person was at Circle
yes, it
Centers
was.
in the mall. The
Yep.
very first time.
Yep. You know what? When we go to Gen Con, we're gonna have to go to the Circle Center. We have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, so we watched. I'm like going back and forth. Like, okay, what are we gonna watch? That's been brought up. It looks good. Trailers look really fun for it, and we watched that first episode last night. And I gotta be honest, man, it was good. Like it
Mm.
seemed a lot more interesting, and they took a few years to film it. So like these kids that I've seen from probably 13, now they're adults, and it's just
Right.
weird like seeing them grow up a little bit. That's been cool. um Miss Marvel is better than Doctor Strange.
Whoa.
Miss Marvel is shot like into the Spider-Verse.
Oh.
It's got a lot of the artisticness of that movie, where it's like the graffiti on the walls being animated and stuff. That show does that. I wasn't expecting much from it. I will say, like watching the trailers for it, it looked budget. It looked like, okay, this is just going to be and I'll be brutal with it. This looks like a Disney uh it looked like a Disney, like a teeny bopper show. At
Huh.
least that's kind of how I was judging it. And so I was like, well, let's take a look at let's finally check this out. We watched the first episode. Dude, it was awesome. Really, really good. I'm in it. It's fun. It's just fun, It's just like this high school girl. She comes across this bangle, and it's got like it unlocks her inner powers. At least that's kind of what they're explaining. Which I guess her actual powers are different in the
Mm.
comics, so they're doing it a little different in the show, and people are upset about that. But no, the show's really fun so far. I would, I don't know if your kids are into like anything Marvel at all. Probably not.
Not yet.
Yeah, but if they get there, that might be a show worth checking out. I think it's been pretty fun. Um, as far as games, I have been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm waking up early, how I used to, and stream. Yeah, I'm waking up early and playing this game.
Yeah.
I'm really, really, it's in me. I mean, I think I'm level 25. Um, and yeah, I think how that game has started, there was like a tier of bosses that you had to defeat, and there was like 4 of them. I've got through those, and then there's a second wave, and I've gotten through all of those. Like I just beat. They're named after animals, and I'm pretty sure I defeated the crocodile. I'd have to go back and look. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it's gonna unlock like another tier of people. That map is huge. There are
Very big.
so many icons, and I will unlock the next story mission, and it's like, hey, you should be recommended 27 to do this. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm 25 right now, so I'll just pluck out these millions of question marks around me, and I'll just go to there, and it could be you need to clear this out, or it's a bandit camp, so you need to like destroy everyone there, and then like loot the treasure, and you'll get like extra everything you're doing, you're getting XP. It's not like Dying Light 2 where as you're running you're gaining XP.
Right.
But it is like in anybody you kill, anything you loot, any animal you fight, like you're kind of constantly getting XP. Bayek is a really cool character. I love like the story he's telling, and like his wife, it's wife, right? I mean, they're I think
Yeah.
they're married. Yeah, their paths keep crossing, but then they end up doing their own thing. I love jumping on a boat and just like taking off, man. Like that's
Yep.
cool. That's a really cool game.
Bayek is one of my kind of, he's probably like third favorite for me in the Assassin's Creed universe.
I mean,
He's
it's
got
hard.
that strong he's got that strong dad energy
Yeah, right.
with
Yeah.
the way that game starts. So
Ezio is probably still up there as
he's
like the best. Bayek
yeah.
is up there. I don't know, who's your other one. Who's your other favorite?
The Black Flag guy.
Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't play too much Black Flag to really get into that one.
That's a really good game.
Yeah.
That was a really good one. Um
I did like the brother and sister in Syndicate. I thought they were interesting. How's the
yeah.
Valhalla guy?
Guy or gal in that game.
Okay.
Uh, just okay.
Mm.
I think I would have said pretty good, and then I read Shadow of the Gods, and now
Oh,
every Viking thing
yeah.
beyond there is just trash.
You know.
Um, because like I thought about like just the other day, I was like maybe I should go back and finish up Valhalla. It's like, oh no, I can't because
It's ruined.
no, Ivor is not Orca, and
No.
that sucks.
Yeah.
So oh
Yeah,
well.
we had this exact same conversation when I watched The Northman. I was just like, that just wasn't
Yeah.
good. Like as that book was. That book just fucking
Yeah.
ruined that
Yeah.
whole like Viking lore, anything. Like my parents have been trying to get me to watch that Viking show for a decade now. No.
The first season of that show is really good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That actor that plays Ragnar Lothbrok is really good. I didn't watch. I think I watched the second season. It starts to go off the rails a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
But man, yeah, that first season is pretty good.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, man, I really liked Origins. Origins is my favorite of the recent Assassin's Creeds.
Right.
Since probably Brotherhood or I can't remember whatever the last Ezio one was. But man, that map is big. But I just thought it was really cool, like how you could climb all the mountains and
Mm-hmm.
do all that different stuff. I thought the cities were really cool.
Yep.
Bayak's cool. Like clearing out all those like fortresses in like my own sneaky little way was fun.
And
like,
I do try to be sneaky. I'm throwing my
using the eagle and
oh
doing all
yeah,
that stuff.
like tagging everyone and then just running
Yep.
through and throwing my sleepy
Right.
darts at people. and then
Yep.
like
That's
dragging
great.
them into the tall grass. And oh yeah, I'm doing all that. But
Yeah.
um, I hope it keeps it up because I'm looking forward to playing it again tomorrow morning. Um, but I did something. Kind of did something.
What'd you do?
I bought a month of Elder Scrolls Online.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
Now here's the thing. So I started this game and I liked it. And I think I got to about level 7. And I was like, okay, Yakuza is just too much. Like I can't do this and Yakuza at the same time. And so I'm like, I'm about halfway through Origins. Like I want to kind of like split my time with something, and there's nothing coming out. And I'm like, I was thinking about Final Fantasy 14 again. So I read a couple blogs. I was like, hey, what's better for like solo? If I just want to like just chill and not, I don't know, like feel pressure or whatever. And people were just like, just play Elder Scrolls. I are cool. Because I've bought it on Steam. Um, so what I read, and I read this wrong, obviously, was so they have a new release. It's called the High Isle. It just came out like a week ago. I'm sure you've seen ads all over the fucking place.
Yes.
Um, and people are really liking it. It's got a card game mechanic to it. And I'm like, oh well, maybe I'll just like mess around with this. And I have some credit on Steam, and I was like, I'll buy a month, and it'll unlock High Isle, and I'll just like burn through that. And after a month, I'll just evaluate: do I want to keep paying for this or not? Because they give you more than $15 worth of coins if you were to just buy $15 worth of coins to use towards things that I really don't really give a shit about. But uh, it basically makes it to where you don't become over encumbered with stuff.
Oh, okay.
And so it's kind of like, I like that part of it. And I'll give you $15 and I'll get this DLC. You don't get the DLC. You get every piece of DLC except the new one.
Uh-huh.
I bought all of those before High Isle came out. I bought them like towards the tail end of last year. So
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, well, they just got $15 from me. Am I gonna spend $40 on this High Isle? Like here's the situation I'm in. That's how
$40?
much the DLC is. I mean, it's
Whoa.
essentially like 30 hours of content. I mean, each time they've got like 5 or 6 different DLC packs. Like I'm playing through Skyrim right now, like a chunk of the Skyrim map. Um, and so I'm going through that right now, and I'm like, well, I wanted to like try out this card game and try out this section of it, but so I'm just gonna like play it for a month, and we'll see where I'm at the end of this month. We'll see like what video games have released. We'll see if I just fall into like some other open world game, but I think I'm gonna like play Elder Scrolls Online because it really is fun. It seems like a pretty solid one of those, and they've put a shitload of work into it. And there's not a lot of like I fell off Dying Light 2. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I fell off of it. There's still a part of me that wants to get at least to the Rosario Dawson part because I heard that it opens up then, and I know it feels open right now, but I think like you'll get something to make the game feel a little better. A lot of complaints from that first Dying Light is you have to play a shitload of mediocre game to make it good, and I guess Dying Light 2 kind of suffers from that as well.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
so it's like, do I want to spend the time to then possibly play? I don't know. So I'm just like throwing ideas up right now. I'm kind of in the same boat as you are of like, I don't really know what I want to play. Um, and I had Elder Scrolls Online that I bought, and I kind of abandoned it pretty quickly. But I want to like at least give it a month and see how that is. So that's what I've been playing is Assassin's Creed Origins, a little bit of Elder Scrolls Online, and some Dying Light 2. Um, man, I am looking forward to Shredder's Revenge tomorrow, though. Coming to
I
Game
was gonna
Pass,
say,
though.
Yeah.
I think we've got 4 Xbox controllers here, so I'm gonna get the whole family to play through it. Like I think that'll be fun because it's like it's 6-player local co-op, which I've never
Wow.
heard of a game do that.
I haven't either.
So I'm really looking forward to that coming to Game Pass. I even got to pay for it. And reviews hit today, and they've seemed pretty solid. So, um, all right, but that's all I got. Let's. What do you want to talk about?
I mean, we've got
We got
a
a
lot
lot
more
here.
news than usual. This week was kind of the what is being referred to as like the summer of games or summer game fest.
Yeah, I've heard Giant
Um,
Bomb say Key 3.
Key 3, yeah,
Yeah.
Keeley had his thing, which didn't really have a ton of stuff. I don't even think we have anything in our show notes from it.
No, the Summer Game
Um,
Fest.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I got a whole list of stuff here. Um, but in terms of things that I
Oh
want
no,
to,
I see it. I see it. Okay.
in
Okay.
terms of things that I would want to talk about, let me just run through those.
Okay.
My son went ape shit over Goat Simulator 3.
Oh boy. Okay.
Outriders is coming out with a DLC. That surprised me.
Okay.
Um, I've heard a lot of people say that Warhammer Darktide looks really good. That's the Vermintide. I don't
Right.
know if it's
Right.
like the third one of those or if it's a spinoff. The Last of Us Part 1 getting announced was really weird. Um, I
Yeah.
feel like they
People are mad
just
about that.
yeah, I feel like they just did the remaster of that
They did.
like 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it's been longer than that cuz time is weird right now, but um yeah, that one was a bonkers one. Hold on. Let's do it in order. So those are some stuff that Summer Games Fest. Sony State of Play was first.
Yep.
Dude, they're remaking Resident Evil 4. Rich, as
Yeah.
soon as I seen that, I was like, fuck. Yes. That's awesome. I'm so excited to watch Rich play through that.
Yep.
Um
Yep.
which I'm sure that'll be coming to like PC and everything else, but
Yep.
man, that game is so good. It's really, really long. That game takes about 20 hours to get through. But it's
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Um Spider-Man is coming to PC. I don't know if I'll pick that up, but if they do the Miles Morales port, I will probably play through that one because I want to play through that with Maximus. Um, did you play that? You played that, didn't you?
I played the original, yeah,
Okay,
on
yeah.
PlayStation. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You have highlighted here the Callisto protocol.
Yeah, that is a Dead Space game made by the people that made Dead Space, but it's not called Dead Space anymore.
Right.
It's a dude who gets a plasma cutter and he has a little life bar, but instead of it being like vertical up his spine, it's like across his neck.
Oh,
It's
okay.
fucking it's like literally Dead Space. Like if you watched it and like squinted your eyes, you'd be like, "Fuck, they remade Dead Space. This is Dead Space." They're also
They are
remaking Dead Space,
remaking Dead
by the
Space.
way. Yeah, there's a lot of Dead Space games turns out. Yeah, so that game looks pretty fucking cool. Um they did the Street Fighter 6 like reveal during Sony State of Play. I don't give a fuck about that. People seem excited about
I
that.
wish I cared
Ryu's
about.
bigger.
Yeah, I
He's
wish I
big.
cared
He's a
about
big buff
fighting
dude.
games. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't either. That Stray game, the cat game, looks like maybe something that could be cool. Um, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, they showed gameplay of. That looks badass.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't really care about anything else in the State of Play,
Oh,
the
I
Sony
did.
thing.
I did.
What?
Final Fantasy 16.
Nah.
And hey, Tunic
Um,
is going there. And then everything else, yeah, nothing else really stuck out. I thought that was a
yeah.
pretty weak showing, but they had me at Resident Evil 4, so
Yeah, but everybody seems to kind of that's yeah. So like between Sony's, Xbox, and the Keeleys,
yeah.
kind of the like consensus of the media, and I think just the general games like game industry is there's not a lot of games coming out this year.
Right.
Like Sony only has like
God of
one
War.
PS5 exclusive game left, and that's
Right.
God of War. Xbox basically has nothing anymore. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, there's just not a lot of games coming out anymore. And last year, everybody complained that a lot of what we saw was like CGI trailers for games that
Hmm.
were coming out that were supposed to come out this year, right?
Right.
And everybody fucking hated that. And all they did was everybody just complained about that. Oh, we want to see gameplay, you know. And so Xbox this year was like, "Hey, we listened to you. Here's our very gameplay focused thing." And sure enough, everybody's really mad because they didn't get to see Fable. They didn't get to see Avowed. They didn't get to see like all these other games that are supposed to be coming out like in the next year or so.
Hmm.
But you know, yeah. So yeah, one of the things that I have found really sort of hilarious is, you know, through the however long it has been since we've been doing this podcast, um, basically there's like a 6 month rolling Bloomberg article that Jason Schreier will write where he talks to like insiders inside of some gaming studio somewhere where they're complaining about crunch and complaining about conditions, and then all of the games media people start piling on that developer and are like, stop doing that, you're bad,
Right.
don't do that, don't be bad. And then we get to the Summer Game Fest, and there's not any games coming out because of COVID and because people are working from home and because making games is hard
Right.
and because you're not supposed to crunch anymore, and they're still mad because
Right.
the games are coming out and they're also not crunching now. So what do you want them to do? Because Starfield got delayed, right? That was the kind of the bigger delay this year, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, what the fuck? I'm canceling Game Pass. You know, I'm gonna vote with my wallet." And it's like, well,
Yeah.
wait a minute. You don't? Do you want them to crunch? Do you not?
Right.
What
Yep.
what do you want them to do?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like I guess everybody's a hypocrite, but it's just really fun to watch like that kind of whole thing fall in on itself.
Hmm.
You know, I don't know. And I've heard it on podcasts, and I've heard this week, you know, people talking about like, yeah, man, there's just nothing coming out, you know, and then it's like, but
Well,
like, what's the alternative?
they
Like,
used to get 60
right?
hours a week out of their employees, and now they're down to 40.
Yeah, and like been listening to Rebel FM a lot. That show's been really good lately. And Arthur Geese actually brought this exact thing up, like as I was kind of thinking about it, and he's like, "Yeah, there's nothing coming out because of COVID, and fucking anytime anybody crunches, somebody's writing a fucking expose about it
Right.
because maybe they should be. So you can't fucking have your cake and eat it too, right? I don't know.
Yeah, they're going to take longer
So
to develop. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
it's
and it's fucking hard, man. And then you look at things like Cyberpunk and games that have launched this badly unfinished. Fucking Fallout 76. I mean, Bethesda's already been down that road once. Um, yeah, I fucking Halo Infinite did it and then came out and was really good.
right.
You know, people really liked it. It still launched without shit in it.
Right.
You know, like the campaign co-op. But yeah, so that's kind of the theme, I guess, over this kind of fake E3 we're having right now. There's not a lot of stuff we didn't already know about,
Hmm.
you know, or hasn't already been being talked about. Forza Motorsports got pushed to 2023. That was kind of a big deal.
Did we
Because that
know
was like,
about that game?
yeah, yeah.
That it wasn't going to be whatever number they're on, 8?
I didn't know that, but
Okay.
they had like basically said it exists. Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
like those?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I do. Yeah, they're good. Um, I mean, really, I mean, yeah. So that they showed off that game. Hey, guess what? That game's really pretty.
Yeah.
Um, as far as the Xbox show was heavy on gameplay.
Oh,
Showed
hold
off
on.
some Diablo
Was there
4.
nothing else from Summer Games Fest that interests you?
I mean, no,
Yeah.
no,
I'm
no.
a little curious about that Marvel's Midnight Sun, that XCOM style game.
Okay, yeah,
Um, yeah, no, anything else on there, it's kind of like I'll just wait and see. Like if you know, if there are reviews that are like, "Yo, this shit is legit," then maybe, but
yeah. Like, where's the nobody saves the world in there?
you
Like,
know,
where's that?
and
Like, and
like
no, then I feel like those. I feel like the ones of those that stick out in these conferences end up like kind of like it's a 50-50 shot if it like
mhm,
hits or not.
right.
You know, I don't
I
know.
didn't know anything about an inscription before it just dumped, you know?
Right, like yeah, like that there's a game called Replaced that's been showed a couple times that looks like very like side scroller like cyberpunk. And
Oh,
everybody's
okay.
like kind of losing their mind about it. And I'm kind of waiting for that one to come out and kind of
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Not that I wish that upon anybody, but
Sure.
like some of those it's hard to kind of wrap your head around like what is something that I'm going to be interested in,
Mhm.
you know. Um but yeah, nothing else in the Summer Game Fest really struck a chord with me. Um, that we know enough about. Like Gotham Knights could be fun, but like I don't. What is that game? I don't know.
Right.
Um,
And then there was the Devolver Digital, which that company just seems like they're so fun. Like their
yeah,
games are silly, and
yeah,
the one that stuck out to me was like uh that kicker game. I'm blanking on the name because I didn't take the notes of it, but it's like a first person shooter except it's your foot. Angry foot, something like that.
what?
Hold on, let me look
Okay,
this up.
okay.
Devolver digital foot.
Oh boy,
Angerfoot.
Angerfoot.
Yeah, you'll have
Okay,
to watch the trailer for this. It looks really fucking strange, but a lot of
okay.
Devolver Digital games are pretty strange. Okay, so now that leaves us with the Xbox showcase.
Yeah, so they showed a little Diablo 4, which I think that was the first time anybody's seen that.
Yeah, and then they said that it's not the Necromancer. They showed off the Necromancer class, which I love
Yes.
playing as a Necromancer. I love just being able to fucking summon shit and just watch some little critters like take off. I love that.
Yep. Yep. Let's see. They showed off Plague Tale Requiem. I've not played any of those games.
No, there's only one,
That
I
game
think.
um I think there's a couple.
Oh, is there a Plague Tale?
I think so. Maybe I'm totally
There's
no, I'm thinking of
Requiem,
like
and
I'm thinking of like that Man of Medan, that other
oh
series.
yeah, right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there is one other Plague Tale. Okay. That game looks pretty cool though, the Plague Tale
Mm-hmm.
game. Maybe I'll have
Mm-hmm.
to go back and play that old one.
Yeah.
Um the two games I really want to talk about are Redfall and Starfield.
Okay, let's save those.
Okay.
So my son will go ape shit over Minecraft Legends. We played Minecraft Dungeons. He was pretty excited to see that trailer. I'm not a Hollow Knight fan. I've never played the first one. I know like that's gonna be up there for a lot of people. The Silk Song.
Yeah.
Still no
Yeah.
release date on that, which pissed a lot of people off. Um, I've never played a Persona game, and
Nope,
they're
me neither.
all getting released on Game Pass. That might be the fifth one is coming out this year. 4 and 3 will be next year. That might be something I'll check out. Anything else
Did it
on?
show Overwatch 2 for the first time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never played the
Yeah.
first one. Arc 2. I put Arc again. Vin Diesel looked goofy as hell. Sea of Thieves is still getting updated. That's cool. There's a new pack for Fallout 76 called The Pit, which I'm pretty sure that was like a
That was a Fallout
Fallout
3
3. Yeah,
DLC.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it. Redfall and Starfield. Let's save Starfield for
Okay.
last.
Yeah. Okay. So Redfall is the Left 4 Dead esque like open world vampire hunting game
Right.
from Arcane, makers of Dishonored, Deathloop.
Yep.
Yeah. So you kind of know what that game's gonna be, but we got to see like pretty in depth gameplay, and that looks really cool.
Hmm.
Definitely has like that Arcane kind of look and feel to it. Um, Different like cool powers, good shooting. Like that seems like it'll be a really fun game. Like when I was watching it, I was like, man, like this looks like what you'd want like on a like an evolution of Left 4 Dead, right? Back for Blood was kind of just the same fucking game. Um, the Anacrusis is kind of that same game again with maybe a
Right.
few different twists. This looks like an evolution of those.
Right.
And I was like, man, that would be really fun to play co-op. And then today, I read that its co-op won't have story progression. So
Ah,
it
I
is going to be
hate.
Dying Light. It's going to be Dying Light 2, where only the host will get to have story progression, and everybody else gets to keep all their XP and keep all their weapons and all their stuff, but they don't get any of the story progression. Um,
Why can't they figure that? Why is that such a challenge?
I don't. I can kind of understand because like if I joined your game like while you were midway through whatever the campaign is,
Yeah,
I,
I
I don't
guess.
know. It's just kind of a bummer.
Right.
Um, I don't know, but if it's fun, maybe it won't matter.
Doesn't Borderlands get by? How does Borderlands handle it?
I don't think Borderlands gives a fuck. I think the original Borderlands 1 was just like whatever, man. Like
Yeah, do
you're level
whatever.
0, you're like I remember playing that with you, and you'd started playing it like a week after all of us did, and
Oh yeah,
we
you're
ran you through
carrying
the
my
first
ass.
30 hours of that game in
I
15
felt
minutes.
like playing. That was Borderlands 2, wasn't it? I
Yeah,
felt
no, it was
like
one.
I was always like you all like had super speed or some shit, and I was
Yep,
always just running behind you, watching my numbers go up, and I'm
yep,
like, okay, this is cool.
yep, yeah, yeah. I mean, and yeah, I don't know. Redfall looks really good. That's a little bit of a bummer about the co-op stuff.
Yeah,
Um, Especially
that's
coming right
also
off Dying
next
Light
year,
2.
right?
It's also next year. Yeah,
Okay.
next year. Um, okay.
Oh boy.
So let's talk about the Starfield. So we've been talking about this game for a while.
Right.
It's kind of famously been discussed at least once. Like the name Starfield has been said at least once on like every episode of this podcast. I think
Yeah.
just about. Um, and Bethesda games are kind of famous for having like their reveals. You know, you get the Todd Howard. He's gonna come on stage. He's gonna regale you.
Yeah.
You know, he might play it on stage. You know, that didn't happen this time.
No,
Um, but they showed a lot of that game.
they sure did.
Um, Boy, where to start? So so it was kind of like a tiered. They kind of did the 15-minute kind of playthrough gameplay trailer, and then the next day he did like an interview where some more nuggets kind of got dropped.
Hmm.
Um, so
Man,
the
they've gotten
story of
really
that
good at that.
Yeah, yeah. The story of that game is said to be roughly 30 to 40 hours long, which I think is right where that needs to be
Yeah.
for that game, um, or for an RPG in today's day and age. Um, he's, I I think the thing that most people are latching onto is the last words of the gameplay reveal, which is that Todd Howard basically said, "So how big is it? You say? How big is this game? Right? It's in space." And he kind of walks through and he's like, we have 100 star systems that you can go to, and there's 1,000 planets within all those star systems that you can go to, and you can land on them. And then everybody kind of latched on to that part that very last part. That was the last thing. Those last words that came out of his mouth before it like cut to black.
Do you think like as
Um,
they were planning this game, like the lead developer went up to the whiteboard and was just like, guys, let's shoot for 100 planets. And Todd Howard walked up there and just wrote an extra 0.
I don't know, man. It's obviously a lot of that's going to be procedurally generated,
Sure.
right? And that's been the thing that I've seen a lot of articles written about in the last couple days, and a lot of conversations at my work have been about, oh, it's just going to be boring ass shit. It's all going to be procedurally generated. And I'm like, guys, they've been using procedural generation since Oblivion. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what the do you think somebody went through and placed all the trees in that fucking map
No.
by hand? Have you ever heard like speed tree? It's like right there, man.
Right.
That's procedural generation.
Yeah.
And and Todd Howard talked about that. He's like, yeah, I mean, of course we're doing that. We've done that forever, right? But our kind of style of doing that is we design these little areas by hand, these dungeons or these little towns or these little villages, or if it's Skyrim, maybe a little castle.
I mean, it's Minecraft.
And then and then everything in between there is kind of procedurally generated,
Right.
but with a lot of care, right? It's not full on No Man's Sky where you're just like pushing a button and they don't have any fucking idea it's just all randomized. It's not quite that, I wouldn't say. Because 1,000 planets isn't that many. It's not like whatever's in No Man's Sky is like 1 billion or something.
Right.
I mean, if you've got a bunch of developers, I mean, you're way more familiar than that than I am. But
think about the walkthroughs that are going to be of this game, where it's like,
right,
these 950 planets, don't fucking bother with them.
Yeah.
They're just full of bullshit. So
that's kind of what he alluded to in one of his interviews. There's going to be a good chunk of the planets that are just like resource planets, and like you don't need to ever land on them. But if you want to, you can, and you can build a whole outpost there, and you can do your own whole thing there, and do that. You can do that if you really want to.
And people fucking love that.
People really like that stuff.
No Man's Sky does well because they allow you to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And not everything needs to be tied to a story. There's a lot of people that are just want to go explore and see what's out there. And if there's nothing interesting, there's 900 other planets to go explore.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, they're gonna have a story. I mean, they're gonna get you along a breadcrumb trail and get you on the side quests and get you on the faction quests. Like, it's still gonna be a Bethesda game for sure. I mean, I think they've made that pretty clear. But yeah, I think a lot of the systems and like number of planets and how big it is kind of being overblown a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm not as worried about that as a lot of people are, with it being kind of watered down material. But their gameplay trailer does start off with a dude like literally getting out of a ship and then scanning a piece of fauna.
Yeah.
And I mean, it looks like No Man's Sky. It's like,
and when I seen that,
found 1 of 8 of the fauna on this planet, and I'm like, oh, they're just doing that.
Yeah.
And then he goes over and he pulls out a little mining thing and he starts mining iron. I'm like, oh, okay.
Right. And the crazy thing is they probably started developing this game before No Man's Sky was even a thought.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
I will say,
so it is very.
Watching this trailer, my roller coaster of who am I? What did I want from Starfield? Like, I was pumping this game up in my head that it was going to be like an evolution to open world games, almost in a way that like Elden Ring is not an evolution to open world games, because it like borrows pretty heavily from Breath of the Wild, which is essentially not holding your hand. So really all they're doing is taking shit away from you, but it's also like forcing you to go explore more. And I don't need to go on that tangent, but I've just Starfield is like, what are they gonna do? And turns out they're just doing their thing and then borrowing from No Man's Sky, which I bet as they were developing this and watching I about said Hello Games. Who is it that makes
It is Hello
okay,
Games. Yeah.
watching Hello Games like perfect their like from what it started out to what it is now. You got to think those developers are sitting back. It's like, oh, we've been working on our own kind of scan system that we want to introduce in Starfield. And it's like, oh shit, people do not like this. Oh, people fucking love it now. Like,
Right. Yeah.
so now I bet they got rejuvenated a little bit and was just like,
Right.
yeah, we've wanted to like introduce this into Starfield, and we've been working on this game for how long have they been working on that game? Since Skyrim, probably, which has been a
Oh,
decade.
definitely.
Uh, you know,
Definitely a long time. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
watching that, I was just like, oh, I don't know if I like that. Oh, I don't know, 1,000 planets. No, that's I'm a dad and my time is limited. No, there's no way. Like that seems like too much. They're putting in a lot of effort into a lot of game that I will have no desire to play. And then it was that next day where they're like, "Hey, the main story is still like obtainable." Because if they told
Right.
me, it would take you 200 hours to get through like the base game, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't play. I mean, yes, I would play it because it's going to be on Game Pass. I just have to hit a button and it's available to me.
Right.
But do I see
Yeah.
myself finishing a game like that? No. But now that I know that I could fuck off for 20 hours, but then kind of keep focused on the story and be done within 60, 70 hours, yes, I will probably play this game. It looks fun. There's going to be a lot to it that I will ignore. The shipbuilding, I was like, oh, Rich. The scanning of all that, I
Oh.
was just like, oh, Rich, man. I was like,
Yeah.
that's why I text you in our Discord chat. I was just like, this is way more up your alley than mine. A lot of these systems I don't really care about. I just want to play the game and experience the story. But they're putting a lot into the shipbuilding, the crafting, all of that. And it's just like, I'm not there for that, but you
Yep.
are,
Yep.
and that seemed
I'm.
perfect for
Yep.
you. So
Yep. Yep.
now
Yep.
what
Yep.
they
Yep.
need to
Yep. Yep.
do is they need to let you build a ship, but then they're gonna need to let you take it apart.
Yeah. 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 No kidding. Yeah. No. I mean, yeah. Just watching that gameplay trailer. I mean, the combat looked okay. Um,
It looked whatever.
I think once you get like some abilities and stuff, like that'll be more fun, probably.
Oh yeah, Skyrim's
Which
combat is awful when you first
yeah,
start.
yeah,
It's not until you
yeah.
start getting magic and being able to summon shit, and you get your Fusroda. I don't why am I can't think of
Right. Yeah.
the
Like the dragon
yeah, the
powers.
dragon
Yeah.
powers. Yeah, then the combat
Yeah.
like really opens up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the gameplay looked pretty good to me. I mean, listening to like him explain like what the story is, it's got this really hard sci-fi style of like fucking NASA punk kind of style to
Hmm.
it. Um, that I think is really cool. I kind of like that they didn't go too fantastical the style, like more of a No Man's Sky. It's
Right.
definitely rooted in reality and a little grimy. I kind of like that, honestly. Um, and I hope with their story, they're like kind of playing up like the current state of like space today.
Hmm.
Like we went to the moon in like the 60s. We haven't been back.
Right.
And like there's this kind of yearning for like getting back into space and between SpaceX and NASA and like all the private companies like there's kind of this like it's kind of been reinvigorated to like go back and like do space travel
Right.
and do that cool shit. And it seems like that's maybe they're kind of playing with that emotion a little bit in their story the way he described it. um but no, I mean he definitely still alluded to like there's still a lot of handcrafted stuff in the game
Hmm.
that they're doing by hand. Um, you can land anywhere on a planet, but you don't actually fly the ship down to the planet. you just kind of pick a spot, and then it'll either do a little cutscene or do whatever, and you'll land there. Which I think is initially gonna probably anger some people that you can't just like seamlessly fly in and out of orbit.
Oh, sure.
Um, but that's cool. Like when you do it in No Man's Sky the first couple times, but then it's like when you're really jumping between planets and like doing resource gathering, that shit gets old real quick, and then you just build teleporters and you're just
Oh,
teleporting everywhere.
sure. Yeah.
So that kind of gets old. So I'm kind of glad they made that decision. And he basically said like, yeah, there's no way we could do that with our engine. Like it's just not. It's still the same engine. Like we made that concession early on.
What is
Like
their
there was no
engine?
point.
Is it Havoc? Is that what they use?
No, is it the creation engine? Is that what it's called?
That sounds right. What is Havoc?
Um, Havoc is a third party software,
Okay.
I think. What is the name of that engine? Yeah, Creation Engine is the Bethesda engine.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I mean, he kind of alluded to that, that wasn't going to be a thing. He also said it's not like a hardcore flight sim because they did show like cockpit
Yeah.
flight stuff, you know. But he did allude to like your ship's going to have systems. It's going to have like shields and weapons and different things you're going to have to kind of manage while you're flying the ship. So maybe something closer to like Star Wars Rogue Squadron,
Sure.
or something like that. And then he kind of showed off the base building, which they had in Fallout. The thing that I do like, and I don't remember if it was this way in Fallout, it definitely wasn't this way in New Vegas in 76, but it looks like the camera moves out to like a top-down view, and you can use like a
Oh,
mouse
nice.
or
Okay.
like the controller to do it, and you're not like Minecrafting your way
Right.
like up shit to build shit. Um, so that looked cool with the building.
Like maybe like a
And then
V Rising camera style,
yeah,
like
yeah,
pulled back. Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's what it looked like to me at least. Or at least there was that option, which I like quite a bit. Um, and then they showed off the ship, and the ship is all customizable, and you can put different pieces and parts on it, and that affects the way the ship flies and the weapons the ship has. And like, yeah, man, all that stuff, like it has all that extra stuff, and then if it still has all the cool Bethesda shit
Mm-hmm.
that's been in those games, like like the Assassin's Guild stuff in Skyrim, and like the vampire stuff in Skyrim, and like the Brotherhood stuff in Fallout, like all
Yep.
those like not main story quests, but still big quests that you're doing for those. Like, there's a lot of cool shit in those games. Um, if all that's still in there, yeah, I'm good. Todd Howard is kind of my uh fucking Peter Molyneux, or
Mm-hmm.
like you're Reggie. Like just fucking whatever you got to say, man. Just tell me where to shove the $60. Where's it got to go?
Right.
Just get him up there, let him regale me. He can whatever. He guy's made one mistake. Fallout 76 that launched like shit.
Elder Scrolls
Everything else has
Online
been good to
launched pretty
go.
poorly too, but they've
Yeah,
not Fallout
yeah,
76 bad, but
yeah, yeah.
um
But their main stuff, they're bangers. They tend to hit.
are we going to see
So
this by June of next year?
I think I would think so. I would think this is a before April game. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Especially seeing it as much of as they showed.
Sure.
Um, Typically when they show a game, it's coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember when they showed Fallout, was it Fallout 3 or was it Skyrim? Like they showed Skyrim and it was like, yep, that shit's out in 4 months.
Yeah,
Like
Skyrim was it Skyrim where it was like or maybe it
like
was
they
Fallout,
announced it.
maybe it was Fallout 4. It was a June announce, November release.
I think Skyrim was the same way.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
released Skyrim at like the Game Awards, and then it came out the following November.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, typically, I mean, in COVID and stuff like that might change that, but I mean, they showed a lot. They showed flight. They showed customization. Like
Mm-hmm.
obviously, they're pretty far into it, and I think he even alluded to in one of the interviews like that, like they're basically polishing now. Like
Right.
you know,
I heard the
maybe some
same
quests
thing.
go
I
away.
heard that they missed it, but not by much. And so
Yeah.
they probably just requested extra time for polish and bugs and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, hey,
Take your time.
I mean, it sucks, but if we can't crunch and we don't want a busted ass game, then this is what happens. Um, but no, I'm pretty pumped about what they showed. Kind of think I'm gonna have to build a new PC, Michael.
Oh man.
I'm gonna have to. That is not gonna be optional for me. I won't be able to launch that game and not have that game run good. Uh, yeah,
You know, you
that'll
could
just
get a
be a
Series
problem.
X.
That'll just be a problem I'll have to solve. Yeah, I could.
I saw Series S's for 250. I almost
Yeah,
bought one because I was just like, it would be nice to have like something on the 4K TV. I know it doesn't push out 4K, but it does 1440 at least. Should look a little nicer.
right. Yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't know. What are
yeah.
you?
I might have to build like a 30 Ti machine, 3080 Ti machine, maybe.
It'd
Yeah,
be worth it.
it would be.
That thing would
Yeah,
last you, 4,
long
5, 6
time.
years. You'd be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
I'm gonna rock this 3070 until she dies. So,
yeah.
which mine's set up in a way that I could, shove a 4070 in there or 5070. Like
Yeah,
maybe skip the next one and then, because it's got an i9 in it, so it's
yeah. I'm
future
still on the
proof.
i7. I think my power supply will not handle anything more than what I have,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of
Oh, it'll
stuck.
only do the 60 series.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
Okay. What do you see yourself playing the rest of the year?
I don't know. I've been told I have to play that damn Star Wars game, the Fallen Jedi, Fallen Order.
Oh.
Um, the next one of those got announced too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Survivor, is that the name of it?
Jedi
Jedi
Survivor.
Survivor,
That
I
sounds
think is the
right.
name of it. Um, that got announced at like the Star Wars celebration or
Mm-hmm.
something. Um, people keep telling me I need to play that game, so I'm gonna try again to play that game. Um, I don't want to play Elder Scrolls Online, Michael.
Oh, don't. You don't have to. But hey,
But I need something big. Like I need something big between now and fucking forever. Like I don't know what to play. Like I don't want to play Dying Light. I don't really want to. I never finished Fallout 4, but I don't really want to go back and play that again. Um, maybe I need to play RE2. Maybe now is the time to do that.
yeah, maybe.
Um, I don't know.
Elder Scrolls Online is free. You could just download it and play it. But you also
Yeah,
have Elden Ring. You'd get back to Elden Ring.
yeah, that's a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah. I could
I don't
if they
see
do that.
myself going back to that game.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way. Like I kind of want to go back to it and get a little more out of it, but I don't see where I'll ever actually finish it.
Like, you would want to start over, probably. Like I'm
I don't know.
level.
I'm pretty far. I'm
I
pretty
am
far
too.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's making me
Yeah.
like seeing people use magic and me being a pure dex build. It's just like, man, I kind of want to like fuck around with magic a little bit.
Right.
That
Yeah.
Moonblade or Moonveil blade, that just looks fun. But no. Yeah, I think I'll probably focus on some over these next 2 weeks. It'll be more Origins and Elder Scrolls Online, see how that's going, and then play some TMNT with the family. Can't think of anything else coming out over these next 2 weeks, and yeah, the rest of the year is going to be pretty light. But I'll be watching out for some of those inscriptions to kind of just drop in out of nowhere. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's the
um,
wild card.
you got anything else?
Ah, boy. I don't think so.
All
No.
right. Well, thank you all so much for watching, for listening tonight. If you want to check out any of our past shows, you can find those at bitpunch.tech, and you can email us at emails@bitpunch.tech. You can follow us on Twitch and at Twitter at both BitPunch. You can check out our archive streams on our YouTube channel at /user/BitPunch. And check out our newsletter at bitpunch.substack.com. All of these links can be found on our website at bitpunch.tech. That is going to do it for us tonight. We will be back in a couple weeks with episode 50. No idea what we're going to do. Probably just a normal ass episode. So we will be back in a couple weeks. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
Have a good night. See ya.
Bye.